gosh. Hello and welcome to Travel Shots Live, where I bring you unedited footage of all the places I travel. Well, I've really only got about 3 days left in Niche, and I wanted to go off and do something tomorrow. So I thought, you know what? I'm home today. Let's make this video the month-end review, where I give you my thoughts about, is it worth visiting Niche? I'm going to go over all my pros and cons of Niche with you. And then I've also got a couple things that I'm a bit confused about that I want to discuss with you as well. So I'll pull that in at the end of the video, and maybe, especially my subscribers from Serbia, if you could fill me in, maybe that would explain a lot of what I've been experiencing. Okay, here we go. And I'll try to make it short and simple. I know my last end of month review with Belgrade was a bit long, and I had somebody say, hey, can you make it shorter? So I'm going to try to do it shorter, but I get chatty sometimes. I apologize ahead of time. Let's go. Okay, the pros. And I do have, okay, you're going to see me looking. Again, I have my list right here on my laptop, all right? And if you see me looking, that's me looking down. Okay, the pros. There is a very good bus system here, and it's easy to use. So that's a pro. And I'm just going to walk through this. So good bus system, easy to use. There are taxis everywhere, and it's easy to walk up to one and get one off the street. Now, I know I've heard that you can call them too, but if you don't have that kind of SIM card, especially when you're a tourist and you just use WhatsApp, it's so easy. You just walk up to a taxi. They're on the streets. They're near everything, buildings. You just roll up on them. They have a meter. You tell them where you want to go, show them on your phone, and boom, you're gone. It's easy. Another thing that's easy around here is walking around. The sidewalks are super clean and the streets are super clean. So, like from where I'm at staying, my Airbnb is about a 20-minute walk into town. And like I said, it's a straight shot. It's really easy. So anyway, next thing is that it's a small town feel. So it's a small town feel, but yet it's got enough shopping to meet all of your needs, okay? So like if you need clothes, shoes, food, you just want to go out to eat, good restaurants, cafes, they've got everything you need here, okay? So that's what and when I say small town, well, I think it's like the third largest city in Serbia, but it doesn't really feel like a city. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like nestled in the mountains, and it just feels like a town because there's not as many people. It's not so crowded. So yeah, that's a con. It's a cool con. It's a cool pro. Wait a minute. Oh my God. It's a cool pro. We'll get to the cons in a minute. Okay. I'm good. Maybe I need more coffee. Next thing, I like fresh fruits and vegetables to purchase. I don't really prefer going into a grocery store to get it because it's sort of like old. It's better just to get it off the street. And one thing I've noticed around here is that they have plenty of produce stands on every block. Like you can just walk. I've run into one like on literally every single block. So anytime I need any fruit or vegetables, I just like walk up to one, get what I need, bada boom, bada bang, pay, gone. So another good thing is that like if you want to get meat, there's bakeries. So they got meat shops, bakery shops, and cheese shops. There's plenty of that on every corner as well. So you're not stuck just going into a grocery store. If you want to go to a grocery store, they have them here, but they're small. So, I mean, in my opinion, I would recommend just buying everything off the actual street and the individual shops. I think they're better quality, it's easier to get to, and I'd say the prices are a bit cheaper too. So the next great thing about Niche is the restaurants. Okay, how can I not talk about the food here? There have been a lot of really good Serbian restaurants that I went to that had excellent Serbian cuisine. The prices are very reasonable and the atmosphere is nice. However, and this is just a little tidbit, if you're not a smoker, you may not like the indoor restaurant scene if they don't have no windows open. Because everybody smokes inside. So I did end up going to one Serbian restaurant that was indoors in a building, and I forgot about that. And like the minute you walk in, it's just full of smoke. And if you're not a smoker, it just hits you like a rock. But it's like you get over it while you're eating, and then it's just like, let me hurry up and pay and get the hell out of here. But yeah, that's sort of a pro and a con. But really good food, really good food. Another thing is there's a lot of other cheap options, okay? So you're not obligated to just going into a restaurant to eat. They have a lot of, like I mentioned, coffee shops, cafes, all over up and down the streets in the neighborhoods. Or you can do what I call them like walk-up fast food. I've done some videos about that if you haven't caught it. Like you literally could just walk up to a stand on the sidewalk, get yourself a hamburger, get yourself a burek. That's one of their local cuisines. It's like a pastry filled with either cheese, meat, whatever. But yeah, you can buy a whole fried chicken or a whole rotisserie chicken right off the stand on the street. I've done that and it was excellent. You can also get like bacon wrapped pork on a stick. Oh my God, with the cheese. Bro, that is good. I highly recommend that. I don't know what they call it out here, but it's bacon wrapped pork on a stick with cheese. Okay. Anywho, the next pro is that the majority of the people are friendly. Okay. Majority of the people are friendly and they will help you the best way that they can, even though that there's a language barrier. But they do the best they can to help a tourist out. Another good thing is the amount of green space and the parks. I really enjoy that, especially when you're walking and it's hot. You can pull off, sit on a bench under a tree and cool down, drink some water. So they have a lot of that out here in this small city, which is surprising. I love it. It's really good. Another good thing is that there's plenty of architecture to look at and tree-lined streets. Going back to the green space, a lot of these streets even in the center of Niš, and if you've seen some of my videos, you've seen the tree-lined streets and all the shade, and it's just super beautiful and cool. And I love looking at old buildings. Like we're talking 100 years old, all the way up to the Roman era, like to the fortress. So there's a lot of history to see. Just layers and layers and layers of history in Niš. It's really cool. So if you're into that, I recommend it. And the last pro that I have, basically, is that it's quiet at night. I mean, I've had no problems with my neighbors in this Airbnb. I don't hear really no motorbikes or traffic or anything. I'm off the main road, but like come 11 o'clock to midnight, it's super quiet out here. You can barely hear a dog bark outside. So I have slept really good out here, really well. All right, so that's my pros. Now let me go into my cons. Let me pull up my thing here a little bit. Okay, and there's not too many of them. There's not too many. So one of the cons is, even though the bus system is really good, because like I said, there's buses up and down every single block. You can just catch a bus from any bus station, literally off the road, anywhere. However, the bad side of that is that you have to pay every time you catch the bus in cash. So yeah, it's not like Belgrade. Like when I was in Belgrade, you could go on an app and you can purchase a 24-hour bus ticket that was not only good for the bus system, but you could ride their trolleys, their trams, whatever you call them out there. In other words, all of their transportation, any form of transportation for the cost of a one-day ticket. So, I mean, think about it, like, even though their tickets are cheap, like, it's only 80 to 105 dinar in their money. But what is that, about 75 cents to maybe $1 in American? But, like, for instance, if I take 3 buses during the day and it's 80 dinar each, then I've spent roughly $2.50 American money for 3 bus rides, right? Whereas when I was in Belgrade, I could buy a day pass for $1.40, and I could ride multiple buses all day long for $1.40. So you can see it can add up a bit if you're just hopping from place to place to place. It's going to be a little bit on the pricey side. So that's sort of a con. But the buses do have air conditioning. I want to mention that. Some of them aren't that strong, but you do have air, especially when it's hot. Okay, another con, which doubles back on the taxis. Now, the taxis, like I said, the pros about the taxis are that they're everywhere. You don't really need to call them. Like, they're everywhere on the streets. You can walk up to any taxi and hop into it. The con, however, is that they're expensive as hell. Okay, I'm just saying, in my opinion, they're expensive as hell. Like the other day, and they use a meter. It's not like they're trying to rip you, you know, because I always say, how much is it going to be? Like, I'll show them my address and they'll go, well, and then they point to the meter. I'm like, okay, I see it's a legit taxi with a meter. But a 5-minute ride, I kid you not, cost me 300 dinar. Yeah, and when you think about that, a 5-minute ride in American money, that's like $2.75, which is not a big deal. But compared to a bus ride for 5 minutes, I mean, I'm paying 75 cents for a bus ride versus $2.75 for a 5-minute taxi ride. You know, and the bus routes, like, you pay that one flat fee and they'll take you 30 minutes down the road. You can go the whole bus stretch for 75 cents, right? Whereas you can only get a 5-minute ride for $2.75 on that taxi. So I'm actually scared, like, I need a taxi to get to the airport. I know a lot of people are probably going to write to me, hey, just take the bus. But man, I got, like, you know, I'm carrying a giant ass backpack. The buses are crowded. I just feel more comfortable in a taxi when I'm carrying my stuff, you know. So God only knows what that's going to cost me. It's about a 25-minute ride up to the airport, give and take. You do the math. Anywho. Another con that I thought was sort of strange, but then it was like, I feel like I'm back home in Florida. The thing, nobody talks to anybody, like, and nobody waves and nobody smiles on the streets. Like, I could be walking down the sidewalk, and at first I would smile and, you know, say, hey, you know, or something like that, but they would just look at me crazy, or they wouldn't look at me all. Or they just be looking on the ground, and like, it's very quiet when you're walking down a sidewalk. Like, you don't see strangers communicating with each other unless they know each other. But then I thought to myself, well, that's sort of like America. I mean, we aren't that friendly to each other either. So, but there are certain states in America where you are. It just depends. Maybe it's just the city. I don't know. I thought, Belgrade, I think, was a little bit more friendlier, maybe because there's more different nationalities in there. I don't know, but it's not a very friendly scene walking down the sidewalk here. Just saying, you know. But if you keep to yourself and you know, just don't smile and just walk, nobody messes with you. It's okay. So another con, and this is the last one, is about getting hit up for money every now and then. I'm pretty obviously looking like a tourist with my sling bag on, right? And I don't really look Serbian, so, but I've only been hit up two gypsy type people came up to me and asked me for money. I have not had any Serbian people walk up to me and ask me for money. Now, have I seen poor Serbians on the street? Yes, I have. I've seen them like sitting on the sidewalk with like a little box in front of them, trying to collect money. But they're not like, hey, can you give me money? Like, they don't do that. The Serbians, I noticed, don't do that. Or they're just holding a box out and that's it. They don't actually stop you and ask you for money. But I had a gypsy woman who said she had a baby in her stroller. I was in one of the parks out here. I was minding my own. I was sitting on a bench. I was on my phone. And all of a sudden she comes into the view in front of me, and then she's speaking gypsy. I don't know what she was saying, but the one word she knew in English was money. So she's like, money, and then she's pointing to her baby stroller, and she's talking, and money, and pointing to her baby stroller. And then I'm looking at the baby stroller. I didn't see the baby in it, but it was like sideways, but I saw long legs. And I was thinking to myself, this is not a baby. This is like a 5 or 6 year old that's just sitting in the stroller. And I thought, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but it just didn't seem legit. And you have to tell them no a few times for them to get it, and just sort of ignore them, and then they walk away. So that was one incident. Another incident, I almost got hustled by a 10-year-old gypsy boy. I was at the bus stop waiting on a bus, and this boy comes rolling up to me, and well, long story short, there's another story behind it, but the only word he knew was money. He had his hand out, money? And I was like, no money. And he's like, money? I was like, no money. And then I finally said to him, I said, where's your mama? Who's your mama? Where's your mama? Get money from your mama, right? And he's just looking at me and stuff. And then his little friend comes up, and he keeps saying money. And then his friend pulls money out of his pocket. And I said, see there? Your friend's got money. Now you can go and get something to eat. I'm like, bro, you got to respect the hustle though. But that's few and far between. Like I said, I've been here 28 days and only been hustled twice. I think that's a pretty good record. So that's my pros and cons. Now, here's the 2 things I'm confused about. Please, my Serbian subscribers, can you enlighten me about these 2 things? Some people I notice that get on the buses never pay for the ride. Okay, now let me give you an example. Like, for instance, I've noticed senior citizens, people in their 60s and up, never pay. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then I notice like teenagers, young kids, maybe college age, I don't see them paying for a bus ticket. I'm like, okay, maybe they got a college pass. Okay, that makes sense too. But then I see people around my age, working class people, that don't hardly pay either. And I'm like, but every time I get on the bus, they got like this little lady in a vest, and she works for the bus, and she's the one that collects the money and gives you change and gives you like a little like receipt ticket. Every time I get on the bus, I get one of those walk up to me. They say something in Serbian, which probably means, ticket money or whatever. So I just pay them, and I get my little receipt and we're done. But then I see other people around my age that get on the bus. She'll walk up to him, do the same thing, says something to him in Serbian, but they ignore her, okay? They literally just don't even look at her, and then she just walks away and never collects the money. So I'm like, am I just targeted because I'm a tourist? Is it a volunteer thing to pay for the bus out here, Niche? Because I was like, thinking to myself, well, maybe I could get away with that and not pay for the ticket. But then I thought, you know what? It's not that expensive. I'm helping the community. I don't care, right? But it's just the point of it all. Like, I really don't know how they're running the bus system when I would say 3/4 of the people on the bus don't pay. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so that's one thing I'm confused about. And the second thing, and we'll wrap it up. I know this sounds weird, but umbrellas? Okay. I carry an umbrella in my sling bag for either rain or shine, okay? Because one thing I picked up from being in Southeast Asia, where it is super hot down there too, is that everybody in Asia uses an umbrella as portable shade. And that's where the habit came in, where I started using it wherever I go, right? But for some reason, in Niš, not so much Belgrade, but here, every time I pull out my umbrella and use it and walking down the sidewalk, I get stared at, bro. Like, you would think that I literally pulled out a machine gun, like an AK-47, and was just parading around with a machine gun in my hand, right? Because I get people just looking at me, and then, and then they sort of like walk away from me really fast. Case in point, I'm waiting for the light to turn green across the street. And then, this woman pulls up or walks up with her son. Her son was maybe 4 or 5. And they're in front of me, and I'm behind them with the umbrella, right? We're all waiting. So all of a sudden, the little boy, he's looking around, and then he turns around and he looks at me, and he looks up, like sort of confused, and then he goes to says something to his mom, which probably was like, why does that woman have an umbrella, right? In Serbian. Then his mama turns around real fast, looks at me and the umbrella, gives me sort of a weird look, and then the light turned green. She immediately grabbed her son's hand and just took off as fast as she could away from me. And I was like, what just happened here? Like, why are people so afraid of my umbrella? So that's what's confusing to me. Please fill me in on the scoop of the umbrellas. Is it not a thing out here? Because it's been 100 degrees. The sun's been beating down, and there's people just walking around, not even with hats on, let alone umbrellas. And I don't know. I don't get it. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's my end of month review for Niš. And I do want to say one word. Would I come back? Absolutely. Actually, I'm going to say a couple words. I would give this place a definite 2 thumbs up. The pros of being here definitely outweighs the cons. There's no doubt about it. And just to wrap up, not only staying in Niš, but also my time in Belgrade, I've just had a fabulous 2 months in Serbia. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, Serbia has really touched my heart. And I just want to say thank you, especially to all my Serbian subscribers that have hopped aboard this crazy train of mine. I love you guys. Like, you guys have really helped the channel out with watching, liking, commenting. I notice a lot of that is coming from here, from this country. And you're the reason why I do this, I love it. I love that you guys have given me, restaurant suggestions. You've given me places to go and visit that I would have never known, and you have really made my time here special. And yeah, I love you guys. Like I said, from the bottom of my heart and soul, I love the Serbian people. I love the Serbian subscribers. And I would certainly come back. And I would love to come back if you'll have me again. Anyway. They'd be like, oh my God, this crazy American, she's going to come back. Holy mackerel. Okay. Anyway, like or don't like the video, up to you. Subscribe or don't. If you haven't, please do. Oh, I want to drop you a clue of the next country. I will be leaving in 3 days. One other thing, I'm going to a recommended place by one of my subscribers. I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to shoot some videos there, and then I'll be heading out on Monday. I am going to drop you a clue, but I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. I'm still in the Balkans. I am going to a country that is west, or I guess on your side, this side. It's west of Serbia, Okay. It is a city, it's a major city west of Serbia in a Balkan country. It is near the coast. I believe it's called the Adriatic Sea, if I'm not mistaken. So if you think you know where I'm going, put it in the comments below. However, I'm not going to tell you if you're right or wrong yet, because you're going to have to wait till Monday to find out. All right, gonna keep you in suspense. Anyway, share the video with the world. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.